Welcome, everyone. It's so good to see everyone's faces this morning. And today we have a special guest. Abigail, would you introduce yourself, please? Remember to unmute.
I would love to. So good morning and greetings from Craftsbury, Vermont, where it was in the teens this morning. I'm Reverend Abigail Stockman, and I'm really looking forward to being with you in the first 3 months of 2021. There will be a new year, as I tend to be with you in those first 3 months as your sabbatical minister, while Reverend Lynda is on her sabbatical. If you're interested, I've written a short self-introduction, and I believe it's available in your various online communications from the congregation. And I'm very glad to be with you this morning and grateful for this opportunity.
And thank you so much for being with us, Abigail. The information that Abigail referred to about herself was included in the Sunday morning email that you got this morning. So if you wanted to look there, you can read more about Abigail. And so as we enter into worship this morning, I invite you to take a deep breath. If you have a watch on, I invite you to take it off for this hour. If you have a phone, I invite you to turn it off or put it away now. And if that makes you anxious, it's okay. Maybe next week you'll be able to do it. Just notice the feeling and give it some thought. Let these simple acts, or maybe not so simple acts, be a sign of the commitment to give ourselves a break, to give ourselves just an hour to catch our breath, to give ourselves time to reconnect with that spirit of life that continues to hold us all. Our chalice lighting is by Anne Leno. Shalise, you need to unmute.
Grounding in our faith. In a time of uncertainty, when everything around us is changing constantly, each day new developments, rising numbers, changing guidelines, when the world we live in suddenly seems upside down and topsy-turvy, we light our chalice to remind ourselves of our grounding in our faith. We remember that the flaming chalice came into being as a beacon of hope during World War II, a secret symbol that offered help. In the midst of it all, we wrap ourselves in the warm light of a familiar flame, a reminder of the strength that emerges when we come together in community.
Thank you, Anne. And since Deborah is a little under the weather this morning, I am going to do her hanging out time. I don't do it quite as well as she does probably, but here we are. We know we're here because of those who came before us. And we are who we are because of those who raised us, those who taught us, those who served as examples for us. And so today, we are kicking off our 275th anniversary year as a congregation. Existing on the spot our church stands on for the past 275 years, high on a hill, one of the most important buildings in town. Do you know that back in 1746, when this church was founded, people spent all day at church? Well, it wasn't actually an all-day church service. First, they'd have a town meeting in the meeting house. That's how it got its name. In the town meeting, people discussed the issues of governing the town, what laws to pass, who to elect as the town selectmen, whose horse was muddying the stream, maybe, and all those important things of people living together. I imagine that just like a town hall meeting today, people sometimes got really animated and loud, maybe argumentative sometimes. After the town meeting, then people would settle down and participate in the church service, where the preaching was often about loving even those you disagreed with, even someone who might have yelled at you during the town meeting. And then after all that, they would share a big meal together. I always imagine a big potluck. I'm not sure how they actually organized it. People who lived miles apart, seeing each other maybe just this once a week, and making stronger friendships. Building a close and loving community has always been important to the people here at First Parish. It's part of where we're from. And so today we're looking back at where we come from, noticing the memories that stick with us, looking at the gifts our past has given us, because it helps as we try to figure out where we're going. These gifts can be wonderful memories, like in this poem, I Am. I am from clothespins, from Clorox and carbon tetrachloride. I'm from the dirt under the back porch, black, glistening. It tasted like beets. I'm from the forsythia bush, the Dutch elm, whose long gone limbs I remember as if they were my own. I am from fudge and eyeglasses, from Imogene and Alifair. I'm from the know-it-alls and the pass-it-ons, from perk up and pipe down. I'm from He Restoreth My Soul with Cotton Ball Lamb and 10 verses I can say myself. I'm from Artemis and Billy's Branch, fried corn, and strong coffee. From the finger my grandfather lost to the auger, the eye my father shut to keep his sight. Under my bed was a dress box spilling old pictures, a sift of lost faces to drift beneath my dreams. I am from those moments, snapped before I budded, leaf fall from the family tree. And so I'm leave you with this question. What moments are you from? What will you take with you on your journey into the future? And now I invite you to join in singing our opening song, Forward Through the Ages.
Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits and the call divine. Gifts in different measure, hearts of one accord, manifold and service, wonder sure reward. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits and the call divine. Wide across the vision, realm of love and light, for it we must make right till our faith inside. Prophets have proclaimed it, martyrs tasted pride, poets sung in glory, heroes poets died. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits and the call divine. Not alone we conquer, not alone we fall. Each loss or triumph, lose or triumph all. Bound by God for purpose, in one living call, move we all together to the shining goal. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits and the call divine. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide.
Whoops. Unmute.
The paradox of ancestry and the paradox of learning Zoom and worship is mine. The paradox of ancestry by Chris Rothbauer. We gather together this morning because others came before us. Some have left examples for us to follow, others lessons for us to learn from. And the paradox is that many have left both pain and joy. We honor our ancestors this morning, not because they were perfect, but because without them, we would not be here together, sharing our joy, our pain, our living, and our dying.
When I was raising my 8 children, like many parents, I sometimes asked them to take a time out. This wasn't meant as a punishment. I would give a time out when I could see they needed a break. In this series, we're practicing giving ourselves a time out when we need a break. And we are sending ourselves to our self-care chair. When do we take time out in our self-care chair? Perhaps we need to think about the consequences of an action, or we just need to break the intensity. Perhaps we are spiraling emotionally and need some perspective. Perhaps we just need to get quiet so we can change the course of action. Do you have a special chair that when you look at it, invites you to relax, let go, and reconnect with a space of non-hurry, non-worry? If that chair is close, you might want to go to it now for the remainder of this meditation. You may already be in your special chair, or you may want to just get comfortable where you are. I invite you to take a deep breath and relax. This will be a time for letting go of things we do not need that are weighing us down. We let go of regret about the past, unburdening our hearts. And then we remember the promise and assurance that love upholds us no matter what, even when sometimes we can't feel it. We let go of worry about the things we cannot control. And we let go of worry about the future. Instead, we look to the lessons of our ancestors who faced challenges as great as ours and made it through them together. So let's just start with some silence. And it's okay not to try to find words to fill that silence in your head. And it's okay if thoughts won't quiet down. Just find a stillness. Perhaps calling your attention to your feet on the floor or your hands in your lap and your breath in and out. There is nothing expected of you now. There is nowhere to go, nowhere to be. This stillness, this being is enough. And now we lift our hearts in gratitude. Let us start with the people we love and those who love us. Thankful they are in our lives, obliging us to open our hearts. Let open hearts embrace the earth, the sea and soil and stars, blessed by bold beauty the bounty of being. Then, with hearts open to beauty, let us embrace the arts and the generations of learning that we should have wisdom. Let what wisdom we have, won and wanting, lead us to strive so the 7th generation hence can live more fully. It is in that work and that alone that we can express our thankful spirit. May we make it so. For the opening to make it so, let us be truly grateful.
Gather the spirit, harvest the ball of separate
Wrong one.
hearts with little one flame. Witness the mystery.
Pam. Sorry, that was the wrong one. Can you find it?
I'm looking.
The link in the script is correct.
Okay.
Hold on while we battle with the techno Grinches. That's it.
Okay. Here we go.
From a place of isolation to a blending of our hearts, from a cold and empty echo swells a song of many parts. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish. There's a pleasure in aloneness. There's this precious for a while. But when those we love and cherish. Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish.
Celebrate the joy of holding those we love and cherish. Oh, how important that is in times like these, knowing that we have a caring community, that we are each beloved in that community. That can lend us strength and courage. As I mentioned, this church year is the 275th anniversary of the year in which this congregation was first organized and drew up a covenant to be in community and was granted a charter to be the first parish of what would become the town of Northborough. A year ago, we were making plans for some fun and celebration and honoring of our past for this year. Needless to say, those plans have had to be revised. And yet we still have the opportunity to pause, to reflect, to take time to explore our heritage and ponder upon it. What shining examples of strength, courage, and integrity have we been bequeathed? What lessons can we learn from their mistakes and human failings, their pains and tribulations? Can we take pride in carrying forth the torch they kindled? How do we keep the flame burning brightly for the children of tomorrow? Those who brought their vision of having a Northborough congregation into reality 275 years ago recognized the importance of having a supportive community. They even wrote it into their covenant. They promised to walk toward each other in love. What a lovely way to describe the relationship we hope to have with the members of our community. That is a legacy worth adopting and passing on, don't you think? I've learned some fun information about this congregation. Some of that history was brought to life a few years ago when the town of Northborough, as part of its 250th anniversary celebration, held a ghost tour in the cemetery behind the church. Different townsfolk dressed and acted the part of a person who was buried in the Howard Street Cemetery, which was first founded by this congregation. They narrated interesting events from that person's life. That happened before I came here. But I recently got to view some of those reenactments on an app that Jill Moonheron, a member of our choir and our community, has spent the past year creating. She made an app called First Parish Gravestones and Ghost Tour of Howard Cemetery. And we will include that link in the chat. And we will also include it in our Tuesday Circle of Care email next week. With this app, you can take your smartphone into the cemetery. Find the headstone of Reverend Whitney, for instance, and see a video of Tommy Lowe in a curly wig down to his shoulders, reminiscing about Whitney's life. Or you can enjoy it from home like I did. Peter Whitney, the second pastor of the church, served this congregation for 49 years, which spanned Revolutionary War times. Fun facts about this minister include that he had 11 children who used to follow him single file to church like ducklings, filling 2 whole pews on Sunday mornings, and that he refused to be interrupted when someone handed him a note during a Sunday morning service. And instead, an hour later, after he finished his sermon, he opened the note to find that his house was on fire. It was a total loss, but he felt he had his priorities right. Reverend Whitney was known for his fiery sermons, not about hell and damnation, but about freedom from tyranny, about civic duty, and even revolution. Many members of the congregation assembled to march on Lexington at the start of the Revolutionary War. I often ponder what lessons I can learn from this prophetic leader, his strength and bravery to take such a potentially dangerous public stand. Another fun project to learn about our past is the historic tour of First Parish, with a script for a tour similar to the one that you may have taken in a new member class if you joined First Parish in the past few years. Visiting landmarks such as the Revere Bell, the horse block, which assisted ladies and gentlemen in mounting their horses, or the labyrinth made from the old marble steps of the meeting house. Lynda Clark researched, wrote, and brought this tour to life with a digital version complete with maps and photos, so you can take a virtual tour or view it on your phone to take a self-guided tour whenever you wish. So watch for a link to that very shortly. What else have I learned from this congregation's past? In this pandemic, I think of the fever epidemic that swept through the area in the first years of the church. One of their first acts as a congregation was to establish a cemetery where you can still find the gravestones of the many children who died from throat fever. And of course, they endured the Spanish flu epidemic. While documentation is scarce, I can only imagine the isolation they felt while quarantining for many months, without TV, without Zoom, without even a vaccine to look forward to. So here is a gift. They got through those times together, and so shall we. Through this pandemic and through any other hardship life throws our way, we'll keep turning toward each other in love. What gifts will you find as we celebrate and ponder our heritage this year? What treasures will you bring into your own life, your own future, and into the future of First Parish? Because, my friends, this is the first day of the rest of our life. This is the first page of the rest of the story of First Parish. We will all write that story together. Our future starts now. Sometime last year, Jeff Hagelberg began a project that was many months in the making. He wrote music and lyrics for a special choir song to honor our 257th celebration titled Our Future Starts Now. As with so many other plans, this project moved from its intended choir debut to a virtual choir offering. Olga created accompaniment audio tracks and then recorded each choir part separately so we could practice and record our voices. Jeff took the separate voices and blended them together into a choir, and Lynda Clark added photos from our congregation's past and present so that we can enjoy this beautiful choir music online today. We're going to end the service with this song. And if you want to follow along with the words and can bring it up on your device, they are printed in this morning's Sunday email. The lyrics paint a picture of our life as an epic journey across an ocean, a sacred journey, one in which we've survived fires and storms. We're invited to come on in, settle down, and enjoy the journey, growing stronger together as we never give up on our vision of peace and justice everywhere. We're at the start of a brand new beginning, the song affirms. where dreams can come true. We make our own destiny, forging a path to a better tomorrow. The future is in our own hands. Our future starts now, beloveds. May we make it bright with a loving relationship, with mutual support and sharing and laughter and fun amid the challenges of life. May we enjoy this journey together. And before we play the music, I will leave you with this blessing. May you find green pastures and still waters along your way. May you set tables and talk to loved ones about the deepest things you know. May your life be emptied of meaningless rambling and be filled with meaningful encounters. And may you be reacquainted each day with an unhurried universe that is calling you to dive deeply into love.
Enjoy the
That's the first time I've seen that all the way through. What a treasure. What a gift. All right. As we come to the end of our service, I am asked to remind you that it is a belated pledge season for this church year. And your stewardship team wants to remind us that our budget is balanced, but only by underpaying the heating loan by over $14,000. And so we can't afford to raise less than $95,000 in our pledges. So if you haven't pledged, please do so today. Even if your circumstances don't allow you to pledge very much, even a pledge of $1 can help us know what we have to work with as we make financial decisions during the year. And if you're in a position to be generous, many thanks. Our half plate this month goes to the Northborough Food Bank, helping the many people hurting in this pandemic economy. And we're also asking today, offering a chance to give a couple of non-monetary offerings that could be helpful right now. The anchor image for this month is a chair. You may have picked up on that. And I'm still looking for pictures of your self-care chair. So if you want to snap one and send it to me, it will actually appear in our video.